Alrighty, what is happening, people? How we doing? How we living? How we feeling? Right now, Badaki is with his wife. They're at an appointment. It's just a checkup with new baby Brooklyn. So that is where he is. I think he's going to join us at some point later on. But thanks for joining me. I see you guys in the chat. Mystic Flame. He says, yo, Lamb, what's up? What's up? Welcome in. What's up, Chase? Appreciate you. Philly Snipes in the house, who just became a Mother Flocker member. Appreciate you. BrizzletonJones, whose team we're looking at tonight. What's up? Lucas, what's up? Sets, what's Gucci? You love to see it. Welcome in, Kev. Welcome in. We appreciate y'all. Hey, do me a favor as the stream begins. Hit that like button. We'll set a like goal of 50 likes on today's stream. Hopefully, with your help, we can do it. MP says, brother, where's the Dynasty startup with the rookies? I need an ADP check, dog. Yeah, we'll do one soon. We'll do one soon. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I'll have to talk to Badaki and see what he thinks. But, man, there have been so many rule changes. I just wanted to take a quick second with you guys on the stream and go through these rule changes, because quite a few changes that are going to drastically change the NFL have happened recently. First one is kickoffs are radically changing. So I don't know if you guys watch XFL, but essentially they are taking over this format for a kickoff, where nobody who is kicking the ball away is lined up with the kicker. Instead, they're lined up at the 35 and the 30-yard line. And the whole reason for this is to stop as many collisions as possible and, serious injuries. So that is changing. I don't think that really impacts fantasy at all. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I'm solo dolo here, and I got to tell someone... So that's not going to really impact fantasy at all. The hip drop tackle is banned. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend that I can digest this for you. There are probably 1,000 other people in the NFL world who could digest this better than I would. So I'm not even going to try, but it seems a bit silly. The NFL trade deadline will be 1 week later. I like that, because I think that will make things a little spicier. If injuries happen, people have another week to get a trade in. Coaches get a third challenge. This is new. Coaches no longer have to win their first 2 challenges to get a third challenge. Now they only have to win one of their first 2 challenges to be awarded a third. This is not like the NBA. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, like the NBA, they're going to try the NBA challenge. The way the NBA world works is that you get one challenge. If that challenge is successful, you're awarded a second. So in reality, it's not really changed much outside of the fact that if you win one, you get 3 total. It seems a little overpowered to me. I don't like the idea of more pauses in the game. I'm not a fan of it, but it is happening. Enforcement of fouls on change of possession plays. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Changes to replay. I don't like these changes to replay. Again, just because it is going to stop play more often. But the changes are the replay assistant will now be allowed to correct objectively incorrect calls for intentional grounding or roughing the passer. So there will be a replay assistant. How long will that take? I don't know. Another one, replay will be allowed. Replay review will be allowed when there's a clear and obvious visual evidence that the game clock expired before any snap. That happens literally all the time. How much does that really impact the game? You guys might think it does. Fair enough. Ruling of a passer down by contact or out of bounds before throwing a pass are now reviewable plays. I just, some people will love this, and that's totally understandable. To me, it's just like we live in a world where we want things to be perfect, but we have humans judging based off of their opinion. So I get it. I just hate the idea of the game stopping more often. Another one here, designated to return players during the playoffs, which that's self-explanatory. An emergency quarterback, which that was kind of birthed out of the Niners situation that they had going on. But I see you guys in the chat. Again, I don't think there's any rule change that is heavily going to impact fantasy. What's up, Vince? What's up, Daniel? Gustav, Kev, we're good. Hopefully you're good. TD, yes, the rules are changed. Daniel says all tackles are banned. What's good, Brizzleton? Let's build some fire teams. You'll love to see it. Russ says way too many bad calls. They had to do something to reverse them. I get it, but the games are already long enough. I just don't like the dragged out part of officiating. But what's up, Derek? Welcome in, but I can respect it for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to be looking at some of your Dynasty teams tonight. Very simple if you want your team reviewed by us on a live stream. We've had a couple people sign up in the last couple days, which was absolutely awesome to see. Big shout out to Philly Snipes, who signed up, I believe, overnight. He signed up last night. We also had Gus sign up. Maximus VP signed up. Shuddy. So we appreciate y'all for signing up in the last couple days to support the channel. Like I said, hit that like button to show some love. But if you want your team reviewed, very simple. All you got to do is become a Motherflocker member with the promo code LAND. Motherflocker member, code LAND. Those are the two things you got to do. And if you do, you will unlock everything you see on your screen here. The rookie report, Dynasty team review, unlimited access to the trade calculator, personalized advice from us, our rankings. You get access to be a part of our Dynasty trades show that we do every month. You get unlimited access to our Discord. So a lot of people ask, okay, how does that work? When I sign up, how do I actually get into the Discord and get my role? Well, when you sign up, go to account in the top right. Now, another little thing, I would suggest to skip that free trial if you want your team to be eligible for review straight away. Otherwise, you just got to wait for that trial to end, but there's an instant access button that you can click. But to link your Discord, go to the top right, click account, and then there's a button that says link Discord. Once you've linked your Discord, you should see all of the premium Discord channels that we offer, including roster submissions, where you can see these guys have submitted their teams. First team I'm looking at tonight is RIP Babs. Let me know if RIP Babs is in the chat, because we are going to be looking at his team and giving him some direction moving forward. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate the love. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Big love. Let's read some context here. He says, team name, Yaman Beach Chickens. Yaman. 12-team standard PPR with IDP. Okay. Start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 flex, and then the defensive players. You know, we have been very open and honest about IDP. It's not a world that we really live in. I'm not going to pretend here and say that I can give you good advice on that part of your roster, but the rest of the roster, we are super happy to kind of break down with you. But as I'm looking at this, 1 quarterback, so no super flex. That's right, no super flex. 1 quarterback, 2 running back. You got 3 wide receivers. You got 1 tight end, and you also have 1 flex spot. So that's not actually that big of a starting lineup offensively. So that would be quick math, 6, 7, 8. Start 8 offensive players. I think that's what we're working with here. Let me know if Babs is in the chat at any moment as well. But so start 8, and you've also got the defensive players. 25-man roster with 3 taxi squad. Started the league in 2020. I have yet to make the playoffs and finished. Highest finish was 8th. Even though I scored the 3rd lowest and 3rd highest scored on me and last this year. Okay, so we have not made playoffs. Excuse me. Made a really bad trade going into the 2021 season that I ended up trading Slayton and my 2022 first for Chenault in the 3rd. Dang. Okay. Yeah, there was some hype around Chenault at that time. 2022 first for Chenault in the 3rd. Yeah, there was a lot of hype around Chenault at that time. That's unfortunate. I like Chenault, fell into the offseason hype. Ended up trading away Chubb and Mixon at the deadline because my team was doing bad and didn't see me getting better in the future with them since I didn't have my pick. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Okay. 2020 and 2021 were also the years Mixon and Chubb had injury problems at some point and the times where I got frustrated with them, so I decided to just try and rebuild. The trades were Chubb, Boyd in a 3rd for Sterling Shepard, Rashad Bateman, and the 108 and the 111. Yeah, looking back, I mean, Chubb was a consensus top 10. Both of these guys were consensus top 10 running backs in Dynasty. You can judge that trade. I mean, look, it's pointless for us to judge these trades now. I mean, you got Emmanuel Sanders in a trade. He's on TV, you know. But it is unfortunate that those trades didn't work out. I mean, you just hit on a bunch of players that just did not pan out. He says, so I guess not the greatest at drafting so far. Also drafted Johnson at the 105 this year. Oh, man, you've been through it. You have been through it, my man. Guys, we drafted Sky Moore, Marvin Mims, Elijah Moore. We traded for Elijah Moore. We drafted Alec Pierce and Charbonnet and Quentin Johnston. Talk about all unlucky first team. I mean, that's you. You are the sole representative. No, not the sole. A lot of people have drafted poorly. Don't worry. We can get better at that, hopefully. All right, so he says, really was hoping to be a top 2 pick and get Gibbs or Robinson, but somehow, even with not scoring a lot of points and getting a lot scored on me, I got pick 5. I'm curious, is that... There's no way you have reverse max point 4 then, right? Because that's the only way that would make sense. I'm hurting bad at running back. I was a true believer in Pierce. Damian. Got stuck in the Damian trap. I had some pretty good trade talks after his rookie year that would have got me some good draft capital, but I like Pierce. I didn't trade him. Then comes out he doesn't, this year he has no value. Currently I have the 101 and the 103. Got the 103 for trading Swift, Dobbs, and a third. Great job. Hey, you're learning from your mistakes. You got the 103 and you only had to move Swift, Dobbs, isn't Josh Dobbs, and a third. That's beautiful. This was week 2 when Swift had the good game, but was questions if Gainwell would come back, so that makes sense. So I figured dump Swift to a team that I didn't think would do great for value because I had no plans of doing well that year. Plan on taking Harrison and Odunze. Love Odunze over Neighbors, but would also love it if I ended up with Neighbors. Can't go wrong with that. Also have the 201, 212, 301. I'm thinking I'm close to being able to contend if I have Odunze and Harrison. I just need to solve my RB problem. Do I not pick at the 103 and trade for a running back? Do I trade for some players on my team for a running back and take my pick at the 103? Do I try and further into my rebuild into next year and try for running back next year? I would love to hear any and all suggestions. Well, I can guarantee we're going to do that just for you. And he has the breakdown here. 6-point passing touchdown, 1 point for 25 yards. Nothing looks abnormal here. 1 point per reception. Yeah, nothing abnormal there. All right, so team name is Yaman Beach Chickens. So at the moment, Yaman Beach Chickens, we are ranked 5th out of 12 teams in our league. Oof. So we're ranked 5th. We have according to Keep Trade Cut, it's not a perfect science, but they've given you a grade of 80 out of 100. There is one team in your league that unfortunately just looks like the big dog. But that team isn't unbeatable. I mean, he just has a lot of good players. He's got Love Jackson, he's got McBride Andrews, but in a start 8, 1 quarterback, that depth isn't, I'm not going to say it's not important, but he's not unbeatable. Let's look at your team. You've got Josh Allen, fantastic start, because there's not a quarterback you'd rather have in Dynasty football right now. I think we can all agree on that. Let's make me a little smaller. Sorry, guys, there's just that random, you know what I could do, actually? Let's make this easier. Boom. Oh, that didn't work? Okay, here, boom. Sorry, trying to work around it just being me here. And we're good. All right, so Josh Allen, great start. Running backs, yes, you mentioned it's not good. It's very bad. It's very bad. And you know that. At wide receiver, though, we've got Jefferson, Reed, Judy, Mims. So very top heavy. We've got Kyle Pitts. Okay, the good news, we have some pillars to build around. Josh Allen, Kyle Pitts, Justin Jefferson. Now, in a start 8, I don't know that I want to trade away Justin Jefferson, but your team is in a position where you almost need to. We'll look at our options here. First things first, let's bring over your picks into the whiteboard so we can talk about some options. You have 2 seconds in 2026. It doesn't look like you have your second in 2025. I could be reading that incorrectly. But I don't see a second in 2025, so you don't have your second next year. I wonder where that went. I wonder where that went. It's hard to say without having you here in the chat, but hopefully we put it to good use. All right, so lots of picks to work with, and thank God you finally got in a position where your team was bad enough to actually have good draft capital. And I can promise you, my brother, I know you've whiffed on a lot of drafts. You got Quentin, you got Alec Pierce, you got Sky Moore in previous drafts, you got Zach Charbonnet. We're not whiffing. We are not whiffing today. Marvin Harrison Jr. is our 101. At the 103, like you mentioned, Odunze or Neighbors. I would prefer Neighbors, but I know you mentioned you like Odunze. Either way, the decision is going to be made for you, and your team is going to improve by getting one of these names. We could all agree there. So just from the draft, if you were just to stick and pick, all right, your team is improving drastically. So it's a star date, so all of a sudden, your team goes to Josh Allen. Can't figure out the running backs yet. But at wide receiver, we would have Justin Jefferson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors or Odunze, and at flex, we would put Jaden Reed. At tight end, we would have Kyle Pitts. So we are looking spicy. I'll tell you what. Okay, we'll talk about some options, but I don't think we're far off from competing. Now, that is believing that Marvin and Odunze or Neighbors will contribute to fantasy success year one. But I think we could all agree that we love this class, and we would anticipate that being the case, not that it 100% will. So really, after the draft, what you need to focus on is your running back room. Plain and simple. At the 201, I would like to trade for a running back. Because in my one quarterback rankings, I just don't imagine there's a guy that we can rely on there in this class. Now, you know, we're not saying this is a bad class. But if you think about it, in a one quarterback league, Trey Benson's not going to be there, and Jonathan Brooks isn't going to be there either. I mean, at least it's unlikely. It's unlikely that they would be there. Could bet on a Lloyd, a Jalen Wright, a Corum, and that could work. But I'd like to see, according to the most used website, what the 201 would net us at running back. I'm very curious to see. You know, I'm thinking of a range of like would a Mixon be in that range? The 201 would be more valuable, so we can go even higher than a Mixon. I'd like to see what their range is. Again, the only reason I know, guys, we feel like we have a better website. I believe we have a better website. I believe we have a better trade calculator, but I'm also well aware that the vast majority of Dynasty users do use Keep Trade Cut, so we're trying to play the market here a little bit. David Montgomery. I would love, love, love that move for this team. I wonder what people think in the chat. Montgomery is, I mean, according to, you know, this website, we can potentially get more. Is James Cook really in play in this type of format? I mean, surely not. Okay, I didn't think so, but I'd like to make a trade for a Monty, a Mixon. I'll put them in order of preference. A Cook, a Monty, a Mixon. Why do I say those three names? Because you could put Pacheco there too, actually. I say those three names because I'm still not 100% convinced that the Bucs won't take a running back, so that is a little scary to me. Yeah, I like Josh Jacobs, Matty. I just don't think it's realistic in a one quarterback league. I just don't think Jacobs is there, but of course, if you can, then no doubt, like, go out and do it. But I just don't think it would happen. But of course, there's no reason why you can't go out and ask, right? So we can also use the 301 and go out and get some vets, right? We can go out and get some lower names that we believe will have a role. I wonder what the 301 would net us in return. For example, is Brian Robinson around that range? Because ideally, okay, so he's way more valuable than that. So we gotta shoot even lower. Ideally, we can find a couple names. James Conner might be the move there. I think Zach Moss might be too expensive. Let's see. Zach Moss too expensive. That means James Conner is going to be too expensive. I mean, even in Eckler, I don't want to buy into Singletary because I do think they could draft a running back. What about Raheem? Raheem might be a good answer for you there too. I bet you that one is probably the first one that's actually doable. Okay, so Raheem is doable. So let's start, talking about a list of names that we could put together here. Buying veteran running backs, Raheem, Eckler. I would love Eckler as well, just as your RB2. And you know what? We could also... Okay, yeah, let's just play out this scenario here. What are some teams that have these players? We talked about a James Cook, a Monty, a Pacheco, because there's probably some moves that we can get done. Where is the James Cook owner? Where are you, James? Where you at, James? Well, we could talk about the Pacheco owner first, because the Pacheco owner has Achane, Jacobs, Pacheco, Najee. I wonder how open he would be to sending away Isaiah Pacheco. So you could obviously try your 201 for Pacheco. Now, obviously, in most leagues, he's going to cost more than that. So who's a player that we could send his way to at least get our foot in the door and start a conversation, right? Oh, you also have the 212. I don't even know if we talked about that. But we could send like a Darnell Mooney, for example. 201 and Darnell Mooney. And I think I sound like a broken record when I say this, but we always have to clarify with anyone watching. The entire point of today's stream is not to tell you, here are 20 trades that you're going to send and will 100% be approved. Because could anyone actually do that? No, no one could actually do that for you. The whole point of today is to give you as many options, as many doors that you can open and explore and have a conversation starter, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. This is a conversation starter. Is this the final product? Maybe not. It might not be. But again, we can go out and we can try and get a Pacheco because that guy, maybe he wants to improve his wide receiver room. Maybe he wants to improve a different area. Maybe he wants future draft capital because he certainly has the depth to go out and move one of those names. This guy's got Tajay. Tajay is super interesting. And he has no picks except for the 405. How far has Tajay fallen in people's eyes? That could be a super interesting one. Obviously, the 301's not going to get it done. But I think the 201 is too expensive, yeah. You also have the 212. This is why I didn't see it, because they put it afterwards. They put it after the 301. So I wonder if the 212, we could package that with like a Darnell Mooney and put our foot in the door there. So we could put our foot in the door there and at least, again, open another conversation, right? It's all about how many doors can we open. We want to open 50 doors. We only need 2 of them to answer, 2 deals to be done. So again, can you open the door for a Tajay Spears? Because your team is going to be good enough where you just need decent running back play. You don't need superstars when you have a team that is going to consist of Jefferson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Roma Dunze, Jaden Reed, right? Josh Allen, Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts takes the next step. If you guys don't, then that's fair. Another name that we talked about is Montgomery, Mixon. I don't think Jacobs is realistic, but I'll of course look at those teams. Let's see here. Pollard, you could go buy Pollard. I think he's just going to be too expensive, but yeah, let's put that same deal for Pollard, by the way. Okay, so that's another door that you can open. This guy's got a ton of what ifs. Aaron Jones is actually a really good buy for your team in particular. I'd like to try and get my hands on an Aaron Jones. We know he's only got 1 year on his deal. So I do think plenty of people were willing to shop him before. I think they'd be willing to shop him now. I wonder if we can package the 212 and find our way into an Aaron Jones. Again, I'm just going to keep using Mooney as like the name, but that doesn't mean that has to be the name. I mean, you could change Mooney to Quentin Johnston. You could change Mooney to Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Marvin Mims. You know, I would even get Jerry Jeudy involved in a deal to try and go and get a guy like Aaron Jones for your team, because you're not far off. You are not far off at all from competing. We just need some veteran running backs to build around this team. And hey, hopefully Charbonnet does take the next step this year, but we'd rather him be our RB3 on a competing team than our RB1. I think we could all agree on that, regardless of your opinions on the player. But we also said we were going to continue looking at names. Zach Moss. I don't hate Zach Moss, but it would have to be like straight up for the 212, and I just don't think that happens anymore. That could have happened before the signing. But I just don't think that happens anymore, unfortunately. But of course, like I mentioned, going to give you every opportunity. Eckler's going to be a tough buy for you, man, because this guy, Eckler's is RB1. So let's rule Eckler out, because that's a tough buy. This guy's got James Cook, and he has quite a few picks, but his wide receiver room is very weak. Huh. That is interesting. That is interesting. Monty, the Monty owner. Alvin Kamara is not a bad shout either. This guy's got David Montgomery, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry. He doesn't have any picks, so he could be looking to get younger. I mean, can we get Alvin Kamara or Derrick Henry? And what would that team want for those players? You know, open the door, start a conversation, and see what it would take. Doesn't mean you have to accept the deal, but find out what their demands are. I mean, again, for Alvin, can we start the deal out like this? And you know, this is what I do plenty of times in my leagues. I will send out so many trades, same structure. You know, 60% of the people don't reply. That's okay. 40% reply, we counter, it doesn't get done. But it just takes that one or two people who are seriously interested in working a deal to actually counter to a position where you feel good. But we're using those picks. We're going out and getting running backs. Is there other teams that make sense? I think we've explored as many of the veteran running backs. That makes sense. Oh, Raheem Mostert we talked about with Team 10. You're joking me if this guy's not open to moving Raheem Mostert. Look at his running back room. It's stacked. So can we just start off with the 212 for Raheem Mostert? Actually, you could probably make that the 301 as a starting point. It's only one pick, so he probably counters for the 212 and something, but you know, that's where you can start. So again, hopefully we get a couple of these deals done, and we're able to now, let's say we get the Aaron Jones deal done. Let's just play best case scenario here. We get Aaron Jones, and you know, we get Raheem Mostert. That's not best case scenario, but let's just play out that scenario. All of a sudden, your starting lineup after the NFL draft, remember, after the NFL draft, our starting lineup now has Josh Allen. At running back, we've got Raheem Mostert, Aaron Jones, and Charbonnet is our RB3. At wide receiver, we've got Marvin Harrison Jr., Justin Jefferson, Roma Dunze. At flex, Jaden Reed. And at tight end, we've got Kyle Pitts. Remember, in a start 8 league, that's the way that could pan out. And at the 201, let's say you do end up trading these later picks for running backs instead. At the 201, you can look at a couple other names to add to your running back room. You can look at running back room, I'm about to name some wide receivers, but you can look at a Lloyd, you can look at a Wright, you can look at a Corum, a Horindo if things go right, an Irving. You could also look at a McMillan, a Leggett, right? You could continue to add to your wide receiver room. Couple other options, though, is you could look at trading and trade away Jerry Jeudy. I wonder what we could get if we traded Jeudy away, because you could hold him. There's no harm in holding him. He just got a long-term deal. It'd be good to see what he looks like in this offense. But is anyone going to argue with me that he's not like a superstar and we're fine to move on from him if we get a starting running back on this team? Start 8. I mean, maybe some people would. And that's okay. They can do that. But let's say they get Jerry Jeudy. You know, we talked about names like Zach Moss. Ooh, that is spicy. What team has Zach Moss? Who was that, guys? Do you remember? Team 6. And Zach Moss is his RB4. I'd send the offer. I'd send the offer. There's no harm. He says no, you move on. That's totally okay. What are some other names that we could kind of navigate around? Eckler. Clearly, if you can get Zach Moss, you can get Eckler as well. So Jerry Jeudy is way more valuable than Austin Eckler. Okay, well, can we send Jeudy for Eckler plus something? What does the Eckler owner have? What we talked about the Eckler owner. That's his RB1, so that might be tough. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'd even be willing to do like a trade up in this deal. Like give him Jeudy and the 301, and let's get back Eckler in the 204. 301 is what we said, and then we wanted the 204 here. So there you go. Try that. If that doesn't work, you can counter, make that the 212, make it a player he likes. Okay, so we have given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 opportunities to go out and trade for a running back. Hopefully you just get two of those guys done. But once you make those picks, you feel great. Now, another option, which I don't really want to do. Let's call this break glass option. Pivot off of JJ. Don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. In a start 8, I don't want to lose Justin Jefferson. Okay? But is there a scenario where we can pivot off of Justin Jefferson, get a still a top 12 wide receiver and a running back? That is something that we could do if these picks aren't working, if these trades aren't working. And we're not going to pivot down to an Addison, for example. Not in a start 8. In a start 8, Jefferson should be more valuable than in most formats anyway. But a couple names. Let's look at some teams that could be trade or pivot down candidates. Del Rice. No, these are too low. But how about the guy whose name is Flock of Cox? Seems like a great dude. But can we pivot down to a Puka? And how about get one of these two names, JT or Kyron? Right? Can we pivot from Justin Jefferson, and can we get Puka and Kyron Williams or JT? And obviously that is not the entire deal, guys. I'm well aware that you're going to have to offer more. But what is that more? You can discuss that with the owner, but also we can look at a realistic trading start, if you will. Puka, let's say Kyron. So I don't think it's going to take much to get your foot in the door. How about the 301? There you go. Let's add the 301, put your foot in the door and see what happens. I'd rather that be Puka and JT. Spread your wealth a little bit. Wow, Kyron's RB5. That's crazy. Let's make that JT. Because I'd like to spread the wealth around. And surely that guy's interested in spreading the wealth around as well. I don't mind. I know someone said pivot to Amon-Ra. I love that pivot. I just don't think it gets done. But I absolutely would love to pivot to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, I mean, what if we had to include the 201 here? Because I would do that. I mean, that might be an overpay at that point based off what Keep Trade Cut says. But in a heartbeat, I think we would all do this trade. In a heartbeat, we would all do it. JJ and the 212. Where does that get you? The 212 if we wanted this to be Amon-Ra. So you're not far off. That would be my preference. I just don't think it's realistic. We always talk about how Keep Trade Cut isn't actually that realistic. Especially when trading away a superstar, you know. But of course, reach out, see if that can happen. Let's keep looking at a couple other options for you. I don't think you can tier down to Chase and get anything worthwhile, but I will say this is kind of a perfect scenario. The guy has Joe Mixon. Like, I would 100% being open to trading Justin Jefferson away for Chase and Mixon. That is a perfect deal for your situation. I love, love, love that opportunity for you. Who else will we have? Let's see. Garrett Wilson. I don't want to pivot down this far. No disrespect to Garrett. Drake London is interesting because he's got 2 really good running backs. Oh, that is spicy. Y'all know I'm a Drake London guy. If you saw the video we released this morning, London and Gibbs or Brees. What do we have to add on to that? There's no way the 201 gets the deal done, right? I mean, that's chaos. There's no way that's realistic. But, I mean, let's just see what the old keep trade cut says, because some people use this as a Bible. And we can take advantage of that. If that's truly the way some people feel, we can take advantage of that. What do we say? Gibbs and who was it? Fucking, excuse my language. London? Was it London? London Bridges. So they're saying that's more valuable. Perfect. Go get that done. If you prefer Brees Hall, go get Brees Hall. Man, we got a lot of options to pivot off of JJ, actually, that make a ton of sense, even in your format. I did not expect there to be this many options that I actually liked. But you got a lot of teams that you could easily pivot to and with. AJ Brown. Ken Walker, not really the name I want to pivot to. So, yeah, I think those are your main pivot options there. Okay, we talked through so much. We talked about, I agree with you, in your draft, we're not moving the 101. Now, look, if someone gives you a ridiculous offer where they're like, I'm going to give you Puka and a running back that you really love. Like, of course, you can start to open up different conversations like that. But as of today, let's assume that doesn't happen. If it does, use your hotline, ask us some questions. But Marvin's your pick at the 101. Adunze Neighbors, that's fantastic. We talked about options at the 201 with the 212, the 301. We talked about trading all 3 of those picks. We talked about if you kept those picks. We talked about trading for running backs. We went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trade options for running backs. We also talked about 1, 2, 3, 4 options to pivot off of Justin Jefferson. Hey, we talked through, 25 different things that you could do to your team. If you make 3 of them happen, you're on the road to competing this year. What I would say is what I don't want you to do is to send away your 2025 first-round pick. Let's keep that bad boy in our pocket. Guys, I am working on a video right now that we'll release Monday of next week for you guys, where I break down the 2025 class. And let me tell you something. This running back class, lots could change, but it looks pretty damn good. And my RB1 is probably not who anyone expects. I'm super excited to talk about that in a video coming out on Monday. But keep your 2025 first, because that class suits the needs of your team. And yeah, I think these are a bunch of incredible options for you. Genuinely feel like there are a bunch of incredible options for you. We had Zaddy Daddy last time. He said, can you send me the... He said, can you send me the whiteboard after you finish? And I thought, we've never done that. That's a great idea, though. So I just want to make sure we start doing that now. RIP Babs. I'm going to send this right now to your fancy hotline. The whiteboard from today's review. And last I checked, we didn't have RIP Babs in the chat. I just want to make sure. I'm not missing him, but I don't think he's in the chat. What's up, Mighty Booch? Says your brain is going 100 miles an hour. It's like a hamster on Adderall. I love that. I absolutely love that. I don't see him in the chat. I'm gonna assume he's gonna watch this later. But appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. Again, if anyone out there is watching and you guys want your team reviewed by yours truly on a live stream, very simple. All you need to do is become a Motherflocker member with the promo code LAND. I'll put a direct link in the chat. Sorry, my mouse is going crazy. I was trying to figure out why. It's because I have it on a different connection point. Come on, figure it out. All right, there we go. If you want to be, if you want your team reviewed on a live stream, sorry, I'm everywhere today. Yeah, maybe I do feel like I'm on something, but I'm not. Motherflocker member with the code LAND. You got to have those two things. Have to be a member, have to be using the code LAND. You get a rookie report from us, which is basically our draft guide for the rookies. You get a Dynasty team review, our rankings, a trade calculator. You unlock the entire Discord that we offer. You're also supporting us, obviously, when you do so as well. But when you sign up, I would suggest to click the instant access option so you don't have to wait for your trial to end. But go to account, link your Discord. Once you have done that, you will see all the premium Discord channels that we offer, including the roster submissions tab where Babs just submitted his team recently. The next team that we are looking at is BrizzletonJones. I believe you're in the chat, brother, but let me know if you are. I just want to make sure that you're with me. And we're going to pull up your squad, and we'll start looking at some moves that we can make. But, again, appreciate you. Babs, thank you for the support. Yeah, all love, man. Big time love. So it looks like we got a 10-teamer here. I'll read the context. Russ says, Zach, I messaged you on Discord about a review. Some weird stuff with the promo code. All right, let's have a look here. Are you Mudgeon? Tell me if you're Mudgeon. Is that your name? If so, I would happily look at that for you after the stream. No problem replying after the stream, my brother. Okay, cool. I'll reply to you after the stream, Russ. But don't worry, I see ya. I see ya. Brizzleton is here. We love it. He says, let's get it. All right, the Jamario Bros. 10-team SuperFlex, half tight end premium with some yardage bonuses. By the way, like goal update. We had a goal of 50 likes, currently at 33. You guys are actually not that far off. So only 17 likes away from 50. If you have yet to hit that like button, be a friend, help the channel grow, and hit that like button. But we got a 10-team SuperFlex, half tight end premium with some yardage bonuses. Curious what those yardage bonuses are. I don't know that it would make a huge difference. I mean, you might have a bonus where, like, if a quarterback throws for 400 yards, they get an extra couple points. I don't know, but let me know if there's anything significant. Okay, so our lineup is quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, tight end, 3 flex, super flex, and a defense with 14 bench. All right, so clearly 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11. Start 11 is what we're really looking at. All right. And I'm just going to put this in the chat so I can reference it later down the road. But start 11 plus defense is what we're looking at. He says, I've already sent you a couple trades I've completed in this Orphan League. Probably taking Bowers at the 106 unless I trade it before the draft. Also, that 201 is really the 111 since it's 10-team. Most recently traded London, Andrews, and Ramondre for Amon-Ra and the 111. Kind of risky, but I wanted Amon-Ra. Ooh. Trying to work that one out in my head. You know, the 10-team tight end premium makes me value tight ends a lot more. So I'm trying to work that one out in my head. Okay. Man, I got to be honest, guys. I'm all in on London. I don't know if you watched the video we released this morning, Brizzleton, but I feel like there's an inevitable breakout coming soon. I could be wrong. But tight end premium, that's close. I know you sent a couple other messages here. What did you say? He says, kind of wish I submitted before my last trade. I got a Monroe on the 111 out of the deal so I can live with it. Gave up London. Yeah, we saw that. These are the bonuses. So a 40-yard completion is an extra 3 points. Okay, gotcha. I mean, that's a pretty, like, if it's a 50-yard, wow, okay. Wait, pick 6 thrown. So is that defense? No, surely that's like throwing the ball, your quarterback, right? So a 50-yard touchdown would be 2 points for the yardage. 6 points for the touchdown, that's 8. And then another 7. So if you throw a 50-yard touchdown, that is 15 points in one play. That's crazy. 50-yard rushing touchdown, 5. Okay. So that is fun. It's fun to have those bonuses in there for sure. Brizzleton, trust me, I'm in on London too. I traded to get him earlier. I hear you, man. Look, I get it. Amon-Ra is one of those elite players you pay up for. I just think in a 10-man tight end premium, that just puts tight ends at the top of my list almost as like those differentiating positions in that format. But it is a start 11 as well. But look, we'll talk this through. Okay, the Jamario Bros. And as I go, feel free to pop any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll talk it through. But you're currently 80, ranked, 5th, and you have a score of 83 out of 100. And your league is pretty well balanced. Yes, there's a guy who's 99, but that's not uncommon. At least you don't have anyone who's, low 30s. That's a pretty well balanced league. It's a 10 team, start 11. So 10 team, but a lot of starters. Okay, so right now, if we're looking at our starting lineup, we've got Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray at quarterback. At running back, we're rocking with Bijan and Kendre. We might start Gus at the moment. At wide receiver, we've got Chase, Amon-Ra, Reed. At tight end, ooh. I don't know, dude. I wish we kept London. Because as crazy as it sounds, it's a 10-man. But start 11 10-man and tight end premium, those names are super valuable. We can't go back and change anything anyway, okay? So it's pointless to focus on it. But what I did notice is we don't have any picks in 2025 outside of our second. I'm curious what we sent that 25 first away for, because I don't feel like we have the depth we really would want to be comfortable sending away those firsts. All right, well, let's talk about it. You really only have 2 picks. So we will get those on the board. The 106 and the 201. So we're a bit limited with what we can really achieve in the draft to improve the team. But you talked about Brock Bowers. In your format, yeah, half tight end premium, 10-man. Bowers is probably in play here. It's either Bowers or Dunze at this pick. And at the 201 SuperFlex League, 10-man. Remember, that is, you're right, essentially the 111 when we look at rankings. So you're in play for like a, if Franklin goes to a nice spot, you're in play there. McConkey, Mitchell, Worthy. You're kind of in play with those names. I mean, you could even throw in Benson there and Brooks if they get good draft capital. But if we make this deal, let's say we get Bowers and Mitchell, for example. Let's say we get Bowers and Mitchell. That's obviously going to improve our tight end spot, which we love Mayer, but he's more of like a ideal number 2 option rather than like a solidified starter at this point. He's a great what if on your roster right now. But it definitely helps our flex, because I was noticing our flex is really where we are struggling. Because keep in mind, we can have 3 flexes. So again, looking at your starting roster, we're going to start Chase, Amon-Ra, and Reed already at our wide receiver spots. That means that our flex, right now we're trusting Jamison Williams. Is it Kendre maybe, or Gus Edwards? So at minimum, but we're not going to get a Dunze if we get Bowers, and we kind of need Bowers on this team. That's tough. I think my preference at the 2-1 would probably be best wide receiver available. Best wide receiver would probably be my preference there. Yeah, I think that's what you'll need to do. Because at least at minimum, you get a McConkey, for example. Now you can start Chase, St. Brown, and Reed at flex. At least you have McConkey. We don't know if Williams is going to break out. We do like the player, obviously. This is tough because even in 2025, we're not going to be able to improve that much. Brizzleton says, I sent you the other spicy trades. I really just had fun with this team after taking over. My last deal to get a Monroe was the one that I went overboard with. That's all right. I mean, look, it's in the past. It's probably not something that we would have advised. But unfortunately, I do think it really, like, just being honest, I think it did really hurt our team because even though you are a 10-man league, depth is so important. Quality starters are so important that it's kind of really hurt us. So I'm trying to think of ways that we could maneuver this team to be in a better spot. Because, again, we don't have any valuable picks in 2025. I mean, we have our second rounder, but is that really going to make the world of a difference? I don't know. The only players that we can really trade at running back is Bijan. We can talk about pivoting down from him. We can talk about pivoting down from some of these quarterbacks. I really think that's what we're going to have to do. We are very limited in the ways to improve this team. He says, I'll make up for those 25 picks with 26 next year. I usually find a way to get those picks back. Okay. I think we are very limited in what we can do to improve this team. I'm just going to be honest with you. I do think one way we can do it is by pivot city. Okay. It's going to be tough. I think Bijan Robinson is a pivot name that we can look at. I think Lamar Jackson is a pivot name that we can look at. I think we had Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is a pivot name that we can look at. I know you just got him. I'm sorry. I think Amon-Ra is a pivot name that we can look at. If that's the deal that you just got for Amon-Ra, maybe there's a similar deal out there where we can kind of flip that on its head. But those are really the main pivot pieces. I will put Kyler, but Kyler's a name we'd like to pivot down from Lamar, right? There's not very good pivot names down from Kyler at this point. So why don't we explore these options and let's see what ways we can improve this team. Because I know it's a 10-man, but like we mentioned, quality starters are actually quite important in this format. So Bijan. Bijan is one of the most valuable assets in Dynasty. We know that, outside of quarterbacks in the SuperFlex League. If I'm pivoting down, clearly, let's get the obvious out of the way. The unlikely out of the way. Brees, Gibbs, plus something. Clearly, we would do that. I think we would all agree. The guy who has Brees Hall. Can you get a Rashee Rice in this deal? Right? Can you get Brees and Rice and send away Bijan and trying to think of like a realistic move here for you with your team? Bijan and, I mean, can you get your foot in the door? Man, we're limited on picks, aren't we? I honestly don't know what the plus is. You'll have to find that out from the owner. Maybe there's a deal out there for you. I mean, I would say Gus, but you kind of need Gus. I mean, could you just throw Madison in there as a first start? Do I think this gets accepted? No. But again, just put your foot in the door. You're probably going to have to do more than that. I mean, I would put the 201, but we're trying to get more value quality starters, so that's a tough one. But if we were trying to go out and get Gibbs, again, these are the obvious ones, the unlikely to happen scenarios, but that doesn't mean that you don't send an offer and you just try. Let's see. Gibbs. The Gibbs owner has, I mean, even Mike Evans here, I think I would be willing to do that. Bijan for Gibbs and Mike Evans. I think that's drastically going to improve your team. Keeping in mind, we don't have our first in 2025, so we really would like to compete this year. Okay, those are unrealistic. Let's move on from those. How about JT? JT plus How about Higgins? Is Higgins not far enough? I think AJ and Garrett Wilson are unrealistic, but Higgins or Smith? How does everyone feel about that? I know we don't want to give up Bijan, but I do think that drastically improves this team overall, considering how many starters there are. What would the old unreliable calculator say about this? What did we say? Taylor, and we said Higgins, right? Okay, so that says it's within the realm of possibility. If you prefer Smith, go get Smith. But even if you do a deal like this, again, because you have to start 11 names, your roster is improving here. All of a sudden, you have, okay, still Jonathan Taylor at running back, but now at wide receiver, we've got Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Jaden Reed, and at our flex spot, we can flex Higgins or Smith, as well as whatever we add at the 201 at wide receiver. That's improving your team overall with the limited opportunities that we have to. But let's keep looking at some options. CMC. Don't really love CMC as a pivot option. But, like, I would be super open to, like, a very creative deal here for, like, an ETN, and I think we can get super creative with this one. ETN and Pittman or Ayuk. I think we can add something and also send something. Let's get the 108 involved in here, and I'll send you the 201. How about that? That's spicy. Now we're cooking with some gas. Bijan and the 201. Keep in mind this is a 10 team. So actually, let's put the 111, because in reality, that is the 111, right? The way we're thinking about this. We said Etienne. We said, was it Pittman or Ayuk? And we also said the 108. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we're starting to cook. All right. That's an option for us. Let's keep looking at pivot options off of Bijan. And again, keeping in mind, guys, nobody wants to lose Bijan Robinson. None of us do. None of us. How about a Laporta and Jacobs? In a tight end premium, Jacobs and Laporta, you might be able to get even more than this. The reason this is interesting to me is because you now open yourself up at the 106 to go Roma Dunze. If Roma Dunze is there and you get a deal like this done, then all of a sudden your team is looking like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Josh Jacobs, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Jaden Reed, Roma Dunze, Ladd McConkey at the 201. And at tight end, you got Laporta there. So that is an option. Dude with Laporta won't answer. That's okay. Hey, send an offer. He doesn't answer. You've done your part. You've done your part. Well, again, we talked about, what was it, Bijan. And we talked about Laporta and Jacobs, was it? So that's an idea that you could try. Again, we're just trying to give you as many opportunities to open as many doors. This is interesting, the 101. I don't think there's a structure with this team that makes sense for us. The 101 is too high. He's not going to get that involved in a trade down. Like, I don't mind pivoting to like an Achane or a Kyron. We'd have to get the 101 involved. That would get messy. The guy's name is the Bears. I'm assuming he's a Bears fan. He's not going to move Caleb Williams. Pacheco's not a natural trade down. How about Saquon? To be honest with you, though, this would have to be like Saquon in the 103, and I don't think that's realistic. But, hey, if you can get Saquon plus the 103, then clearly that's something we'd be willing to do. But I don't think it is realistic, like we mentioned. Could we add something to make him more enticing? Again, we're so limited on our picks. We're so limited on these picks. You know, we could also look at moving Derek Carr. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, these are some pivot options off of Bijan Robinson. How about Lamar Jackson? So, can we pivot down from Lamar? The first name that came to mind to me is Jordan Love. I love Jordan Love. I don't get why he's not more respected in the community. So that's the first thing that came to mind to me. So who has Jordan Love? I mean, Trevor Lawrence. Oh, there's just no one on that team that makes sense, unfortunately. Okay, Jordan Love. Ooh, this could be a great option for us. Ooh, this could work. Jordan Love and Rice. Because Rice is his wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His wide receiver 6. He's not willing to sacrifice his wide receiver 6 to upgrade. I wonder if we could even get like the 109 involved here. Because you have the 201, right? So let's also add the 109 and let's send the 201. I wonder if Keep Trade Cut would say this is, we would get more or less. Again, I don't love Keep Trade Cut. Y'all know that, but it is the most used calculator. We talked about Love. We talked about Rice. We talked about the 109. Okay. How about them apples? Huh? How about them apples? You know, alternatively, what you could do is get this guy's 2025 first, too. That is another option. But of course, his team looks pretty good, so it might not be a very, very high first. But at worst, it's the 110 compared to the 109 right now. Yes, that's true. The 111 is what in reality it is. I like that deal. I like that deal. Like I said with your team, Brizzleton Jones, hey, let me know if you like the track I'm going down. But to me, I'm looking at it with the limited options we have. It's Pivot City for me. It is Pivot City. What about... Okay, this might be drastic. How drastic is this? Do people hate this? Lamar for the 102 or Trevor Purdy. Like, that is a format. Obviously, it's not the final deal. But this guy has the 102. He also has... Who's the least valuable there? Purdy? And you have the 201, right? Oh, but it's really valued as a 111. I don't think many people would like that move, but I kind of like it because you're getting Marvin and Purdy. I kind of like that deal. I'm not going to lie to you, brother. The 205. Oh, we're kind of pushing it here. Kind of pushing it here. I think I feel better about this deal if that was Trevor. I know not everybody agrees with me, but I think I feel better about that deal if it was Trevor. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else we could wiggle around here. Can we get Evans in there? Oh, I don't know. Maybe you could get Evans in there and you could also offer him a Madison. Look, probably that's too much. That's too much. I got to be realistic. But that offer I just sent you, what was it, Lamar and the 201 for the 102 plus Trevor. I like that. Brizzleton says, yeah, I feel you. I like where you're going. No way I'll take Trevor. I like Purdy over him anyways. All right, well, then that works for you because Purdy is less valuable in the community. So you could absolutely go out and get you some Trevor or some Purdy there. Again, we're trying to improve your team with that limited resource. So that is an option. I love the idea of a Justin Herbert trade down. I think way too many people are overreacting to Justin Herbert right now. So can I get Justin Herbert plus a receiver on this kid's team? He's got Hollywood. I don't want to go that low. But honestly, even in your situation, I'd be happy with like a Debo here. You know, I'd be super happy with that because you're a competing team. You need quality starters. Debo is that. Debo's a quality starter. So that could be your starting point and see if he bites and he's open to any other type of deal. There's no natural pivot with these guys. Burrow, I don't think Burrow's really a true pivot. How about pivot to A-Rich? Could we do like a Lamar? A-Rich might be too popular right now to do this. He's got Flowers. A-Rich is probably too popular to do this right now, to be honest with you. Could you do like Lamar and the 201 and then ask for his 301? That's an option. Jared Goff isn't a natural trade back. Dak is interesting, but this team just doesn't have what you need, unfortunately, to pivot. So look, those are some options. You know, maybe some of these doors have been closed before. Reopen the door. I can't tell you how many times I've had a discussion with someone over a trade, and they've said, actually, I don't have any interest in that, and then later on they send me that offer. So if you send every one of these offers after today, and again, only 2 people reply, that's okay. You've done as much as you can to improve your team. Also keeping in mind, obviously, that there is plenty of time for that to change. Brizzleton says, I'm going to try and get London back. I traded away AR already to get Bijan Murray in the 101. What the What? How does that make any sense for the person who made that move? I mean, that's crazy. Well done. But clearly you can pivot in your league. All right, let's keep moving on. Jamar Chase. We can pivot down from Jamar Chase. The obvious name is Puka Nacua. And I saw he has James Cook. Love that. That absolutely helps our roster, and I don't feel like we're really losing that much production. Jamar Chase, pivot down to Drake London. It'd have to be London in the 105, though. Oh, that's spicy. How about that? Chase for London and the 105. That is spicy. It's a starting conversation. I receive London and the 105. They receive Chase. Ooh! Finesse the system. I mean, imagine if you got Neighbors in London for Jamar Chase. Look, if this was, is this a league where you started 7? We're not telling you to sell Jamar Chase, but you can start 6 wide receivers. You're starting 11 total players. I think that's maybe the favorite trade I've put in the calculator so far for you. As far as range of outcomes possibilities, that's got to be one of my favorites. A.J. Brown doesn't feel like a natural pivot here, but I would say if you can get A.J. and Tank or A.J. and Higgins, I love that. Just like straight up. That would be an incredible way to build out your starting lineup. There's not a ton of natural pivots from a name like that. You know, the other thing that you could do is talk to people who have these valuable picks. Who has the 102, for example? Who has the 102? Or even the 103. So Mr. Relevant has the 102. Could you get Nico in the 102? Ooh, that's hot. Go out and get Marvin Harrison Jr. And now you got Nico Collins, a quality starter on your team. Who has the 103? Who's got the 103 over here? Which one of you motherfuckers? Sorry, that was unnecessary. Like, damn, bro, calm down. Oh yeah, his team is dog shit. Yeah, that probably doesn't work. All right, we talked about pivoting off of Jamar Chase. Literally all of these deals could be implemented for Amon-Ra St. Brown as well. So that is quite a few pivot options. Like I said, I think that is the main way to improve your team here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Just gave you 24 ideas there. 24 offers to send and to try. Not to say they're going to work, but to send and to try. And keep in mind, just because you don't make a trade right now, you don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to happen right now. You got time. The month is March. We play fantasy in September. So there's still plenty of time for you to make different moves and wiggle your way into different things. But let me know if you have any final questions. Like I said, unfortunately, your team is quite limited with the moves that we can make. You could look at pivoting off of Derek Carr, but I think if you do that, it's going to happen in season. I just don't think that's... honestly, not even pivot. Trade away. Like I said, I don't think that happens right now. But, like, what wide receiver is equivalent to Derek Carr in SuperFlex right now? I wonder what that would be in their database here. He's quarterback 32. Yeah, it's a tough time to trade away Derek Carr. I mean, we got to be realistic about that too. All right, what's the nearest quarterbacks here? Wow. He's that low? I mean, damn. At this point, you might as well hold him, to be honest, man. There's no point in trading for Curtis Samuel. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, well, we're holding Derek Carr. And what we're doing is we're hoping that he will improve this year and you can sell him in season. But I also think you could trade away Derek Carr or Will Levis at some point as well. You just need one of those guys this year to compete as your quarterback 3. You know, if Will Levis is going to go out and get you a really quality starter, you know, I'm thinking like the names of, like if Will Levis is going to net you, let's throw out some names so you got a good reference point here. If Will Levis is going to net you a Metcalf, a Pickens, you know, that kind of range, a Debo, a Rice. You might have to go down a little further, but no brainer, you do that and you make Derek Carr your quarterback 3. But yeah, I think that's the main way we can improve this team, man. Pivot City. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if I didn't answer anything well. I always want to make sure I answer all your questions well. So, Brizzleton, I'll give you the next however many seconds to let me know if there's anything I didn't answer well or you wanted to, me to answer in a different way, or if there's any questions I just didn't address as well, let me know. Also, in case anybody is watching this video and you want the same experience that Brizzleton just got, it's very simple. All you need to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. I'll put a direct link in the chat right now. And again, all you got to do is go to the Flock Fantasy website, sign up with our code LAND, become a Mother Flocker member, go to account, link your Discord, and then you'll see all of the premium channels that we offer, including the roster submissions tab. But that is it for today. He says, you good, appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support, big time. But we appreciate you guys. That is it for today. Tomorrow night, we will be live. I don't know if it will be a rookie draft or if it will be a startup, but it will be one of those. So come join us then. And then the night after that, we'll be reviewing Dynasty teams again. So we just go in order, and y'all can see that as well. But we appreciate you. We'll see you soon. Drop a like. We didn't reach our like goal quite, but you guys were still awesome tonight. We're about 13 likes away from our like goal. So hit that like button. But that's it for today. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon. All love.